Everyone's obsessed with rankings nowadays. But what if I told you not being ranked might be the best thing for your player? Let me explain why. And before I get into it, my name is Evan Mendoza. I have 7 years of professional baseball experience under my belt. I went through the college recruiting process. I landed a D1 scholarship, and I was in high school not ranked. I was overlooked, and I definitely looked at all of these rankings and overlooked into them. I got down because of these rankings. I thought that they were the end all be all, but then I later found out they didn't mean as much as I read into them. All right, so let's talk about it. Rankings will create a sense of false promise in the whole college recruiting process. And yes, there are the rankings in the 1 to 25 in the best in the state as far as specific position breakdown, or just nationally ranked overall player rankings, right? Like those top 20 to 50 players in the entire country, like yes, those are the cream of the crop. Those are the guys that are probably on some draft boards. That will, of course, assist in the whole college recruiting process. I'm not talking about recruiting and especially rankings to those types of individuals. I'm talking about the masses, right? The players that haven't gotten ranked, the ones that maybe went to one showcase and maybe is a perfect game 8, right, and isn't ranked. How do we go about the whole ranking process, and should we really look into them? Well, first and foremost, yes, I do think it is important to look into these rankings in a way to guide us in understanding where we're at among the rest of the competition. Guys, if your son is throwing 62 miles an hour as a junior in high school, yes, he should be looking at those rankings and start to understand why. Because more than likely, that second-ranked shortstop can throw the ball probably 89 or faster across the diamond. So thinking about these metrics and understanding where our player or where we stack up against the rest of the competition, it's very important to understand these rankings and understand how they're created. And again, how are these rankings really created? It's nothing more than a ranking system in college. And I'll never forget, I love telling this story, but every Monday there would be about 6 different publications ranking all the college baseball programs, the top 25. There would be Baseball America, there would be D1 Baseball, there would be the AP top 25 baseball programs, based off of the weekend performance. So if we got swept by Florida State, you better believe we're gonna dip in our rankings. And I think there was a point in time we were ranked maybe number 9, number 8 in the entire country, which was good. But I always remember going to class Monday morning, checking out the rankings that were being published. And then I quickly realized there's so many different rankings. Which one's right? Well, nobody knows. It's just something that people like to look at, and people consume that content because they're curious about where their team stacks up. And then I started to realize it's not truthful. Yes, we could play against Louisville, who's ranked usually like 2nd or 3rd, and we could sweep them, right? What does that really mean? Well, yes, we're gonna, rise the rankings, and maybe they're gonna dip down in the rankings a little bit, but it doesn't mean we're going to win or lose in that specific game or in that event. So if you're a player looking at these rankings and seeing that there's a guy that's ranked 271 in the entire country, that doesn't guarantee his success at the next showcase. That doesn't guarantee his success at the tournament. It doesn't guarantee anything. It's just a number, and it doesn't guarantee a single thing in the game of baseball.
Real quick, if you have a son in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade who wants to play college baseball, listen up. At the Mendoza Baseball Academy, I built a triple play with the physical development, mental toughness, and a recruiting system that gets players noticed. And it's 100% remote, so no missed school, no wasted travel, just real results from home while your son works one-on-one with me. Click the link below to learn more and book a call with either myself or a team member today.
Because again, guys, baseball, there are no guarantees. Nothing is guaranteed, even if you're ranked number 1. And that's why I say it's sometimes the best thing, because if your son's not ranked, there's less pressure. It's more opportunity to grow, more opportunity for you to get ranked and put yourself on the map. And like I said, when you are unranked, you're the underdog. That makes you dangerous at the end of the day. And the worst thing to happen, and I remember telling a student of mine about this story once, and I played on a team where everyone was ranked, everyone was committed. I was one of 2 players that was not committed to a university. So think about it, everyone around me was committed to Florida State, Miami, LSU, everywhere, right? I was one of 2 that was just uncommitted, and I kept thinking to myself, why? All these guys are, great. They're obviously, highly ranked, all this fun stuff, but I didn't understand the concept. Those guys still had bad days. Those guys that were committed to LSU and Florida State and Tennessee, those guys still had bad pitching performances where they couldn't find the strike zone. There were also guys that were on draft boards that would strike out a couple times in perfect game tournaments. So again, this made me realize that just because they're ranked number 2 in the entire country does not guarantee their success. And by the way, for the majority of high school baseball players, college coaches don't recruit based off of these rankings. Just because a player is ranked 271 compared to the guy that's 272, that doesn't guarantee anything. The guy that might be ranked 500th in the entire country could get a scholarship before the guy that's ranked 200th. What these college coaches really care about are performance, your attitude, how you pick up your teammates. And I've seen players that were highly ranked get overlooked, especially not necessarily at the college commitment level, but at the professional level. Guys, you have to think about this. There's always going to be top prospect lists. I was on the top prospect list, and I think the lowest I ever got was 22, somewhere 23 maybe, for the St. Louis Cardinals when I was in the minor league system. And that didn't guarantee that the guy that was ranked number 2 that was going to get to the big leagues faster or move up to the next level. If anything, it put more of a focus on that specific player and making sure that he was performing. So again, that's where it is dangerous being that underdog, where you're kind of slept on, where if you're the number 1 ranked prospect in the entire country, think about the amount of pressure it is to perform each and every day. And if you don't perform, there is that added pressure of, you know, are you actually deserving of being ranked number 1? Are you going to lower yourself in the rankings? These are all things that if you are ranked number 1, guys, there's not much space at the top of the mountain for a reason, because not everyone has that mindset to stay number 1 and get up there with your metrics, with your performance, with your attitude. All of those things matter. So again, guys, if your son is not ranked, that's a good thing. That means he still has something to prove, and nothing truly is holding him back. If you want to learn a little bit more about my remote training program inside the Triple Play, click the link down below to apply to work one-on-one with me. Just make sure to watch that entire video on my website to get a full picture of how I could possibly help you or your player out, and I'll see you on the other side.